Okay, folks, we're back. This is the third week that I'm doing this at the Fireside Chat. We're in the segment called Let's Get Real, and I'm reading this book, The Lost Art of Living. If you haven't seen the previous two little chats that I did, go back to the previous emails that we sent you called the Fireside Chat. The Fireside Chat is our newsletter that we're putting out every single week to build you guys up, to give you tips, updates, and all the fun, juicy stuff that you need to know. We are in the Let's Get Real segment, and I am just sharing some of my thoughts about the world, how it works, how we are all experiencing everything together at the same time, and you are not alone. There's millions and millions and millions of us. I promise you there are. Yes, even in Canada. And I'm reading from this book, The Lost Art of Living, Finding Our Way Back, written by this lovely woman named Lee that I found on YouTube. She's incredible, and she basically teaches slow living, and she talks about how she spent years and years and years in the rat race. She was a former model, and now she lives on the edge of a mountain, and I think in the middle of nowhere, on the edge of a mountain. And she just does videos on slow living, finding your way back, and talks about the lost art of living, like basically how we lost the art of just being us, not producing, not being everything that everybody wants us to be. And it was left off last week with, if this is the great unraveling, then let my response be a great returning. And I loved it. And then she says, I've noticed how noisy it's gotten out there. Every headline demands your emotions, every opinion trying to stir a fight, and every online conversation feels like it's already halfway to war. Like, seriously. Everything out there is louder, heavier, faster. There barely even seems to be honor amongst thieves anymore. I mean, amen. It's a strange kind of helplessness when you care so deeply, but you can't process all that you are seeing. And if you're not careful, the sheer weight of it all can suck you into a place where you were never meant to be. I was talking about this last week, where we were never meant to be constantly bombarded. Not just that, but taking on the weight of the world on our shoulders. We were never meant to take all that weight. We were never meant to be in constant fight or flight. We were never meant to be constantly angry and upset and depressed and all those things. That is an agenda. It's an intentional agenda that goes back decades and centuries, even at the very least the early 1900s, if not late 1800s. And so we have several generations of our ancestors and us who have been primed and taught and programmed to be constantly, obey the authority, and whatever they throw at you, you're supposed to be alarmed. So I'm constantly alarmed, constantly angry, constantly upset, and it's at a fever pitch at this point. It's gone gangbusters. It's gone crazy, and we all know it. So I think often about the fact that people in the past weren't expected to hold the whole world on their shoulders. They had their family to tend to, their land, their church, their community, and the headlines in the paper. Now, even back when they had papers, the headlines in the papers, the one good thing about nowadays, I know it's crazy, but what I love about nowadays is that we actually have the internet, so everything's gone rogue. Things can go rogue. So you don't have, say, in World War II, where they owned the airwaves, they owned the radio and the newsprint, and that's all you had as your source of information. The only other information you had was maybe talking to people in your church, and honestly, the pubs. The pubs is where people got together and they spent time together, and they kind of had discourse. And what happened in 2020? They were constantly trying to isolate us. They were constantly trying to separate us. So we didn't go to church. We didn't have our communities. We didn't have our clubs. We didn't have our pubs. And that's where, so if they can bombard you, keep you isolated, and you can't get together to say, hey, are you okay? Is something off? Isn't something kind of weird going on here? You didn't have that. You didn't have your local watering hole. It's a perfect way to get people to believe complete BS, right? But so I'm kind of happy we have the internet now, that it's not just a newspaper, because newspapers have been controlled for who knows how long. I mean, newspapers, everything was controlled. So now we're expected to shoulder crisis after crisis, though, without coming up for air. I know that we are not designed to bear this, and it's becoming apparent in the health of our bodies and minds. So I'm going to just leave that here this week, and I'm going to continue this next week. So have a good night, and I'm going to go put out the fire, and I will see you next week.